Hey guys, it's me, Brandy, and I am doing a tag video. The tag video I'm doing, I actually saw Amy Loves Makeup do this tag, so I'm just going to do it because it seems cute and interesting. She was the first one that I saw do it, and then the person that created the tag is Angelica Lyremars. I may or may not be saying that correctly. If I'm not, I'm sorry. But it's just a cute little like tag that kind of makes me a little bit excited. So I'm going to go ahead and do it today. These are all based off of palettes and like things that represent you and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put those down below, and I will also link down below the video for both Amy Loves Makeup and Angelica Lyremars. So I'm going to go ahead and link those down below, and of course if anyone wants to do this, please do. I think that would be super fun. But yeah, so question number one is if I would pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents me, color story. So I chose the Moonspell palette by Lunar Beauty, and this is what the packaging looks like. I think it's super beautiful, but the inside is what I feel like represents me. It's got these beautiful blues, grungy purples and greens, and even that middle row is just really pretty, and it creates really nice makeup looks. So I choose the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette, and I love it. It's one of my faves. Alright, and the next one is if I would pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents me as far as packaging goes. And if you know me, you know I love color, so I chose the So Jaded by ColourPop and Kathleen Lights. This packaging, I know it's not super special or anything, but for me, it's just so pretty. I love all of the gems. I'm a big gem person, and I'll just show you what the inside of this palette looks like. It is really pretty. I like it a lot. So, yeah, this is the one that I would say represents me as far as my personality and stuff. So the next one, if I would pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents spring. So for me, the palette that represents spring is this beautiful color story from Glamlight, and is the Cake palette. I think this is just so springy and beautiful. You can make really colorful, bright looks out of it. Beautiful shimmery looks. This is really pretty. I also feel like this is a good summer palette as well. So next, to pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents happy. So I pick the Club Nebula palette. This palette is just beautiful, and I love Kaleidos, and I love the colors in this palette. I've used it several times, and it's really just represents like happiness to me. It's such a pretty palette. Every time I look at it, I find the inspiration to make something beautiful. So the next one is if I would pick a palette in my collection that represents the dark or grungy in me. Now I've told you guys this before. The Impulsive palette, I'll show you the front of it. The Impulsive palette from Milk Cosmetics wasn't a super popular palette, but it is so perfect. Look at how, like, I don't know how I can do this without it. There we go. Look at how pretty that is. It's just so pretty and grungy. I mean, there's not a lot of super bright colors, but for me, colorful is darker colors would be more considered grungy for me. So that's the one. Of course, Melt has a lot of really grungy palettes anyways. Okay, if I would pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents the girly in me. So this is the Natasha Denona Love palette. It is my favorite Natasha Denona palette that I own. And I own quite a few, but this is my favorite. It represents all the girly things and just love and beauty. I love it. So this one I would say represents those things for me. All right, so a palette that represents, ouch, fun, I am going to say is my Carnival 3 from Be Perfect. Love Tahiti palette by Stacey Marie and Be Perfect. And here's the inside, and it is so beautiful. I think it is so fun. It's just a perfect, I don't know, there's just so much fun in this palette. Like, so many fun colors, so many fun, exciting things. So yeah, that's that one. And then I have, for the last question, I have two palettes. Because I just did a video on a dupe palette that I did a dupe palette. But I can't take credit for the dupe palette because it's actually a made-up palette. It's not a real palette. So I'm going to show you that one too. But my palette that represents inspiration is my Norns palette from Odin's Eye. And it is so beautiful. Every time I use this, I get totally inspired to do something out of the ordinary. It's just so pretty. I love these darker colors. I think it's a beautiful palette. So that is the inspiration. But I just made a palette. It's just, you know, a bunch of single shadows. But I feel like this represents inspiration. This is the dupe of the Wishful Thinking palette that was made up by ColourPop Me on Instagram. So I duped it out, and this is what I came up with. I actually have a whole video swatching it. I have a video using it. This is actually a look that I got from it, but I just think it's so beautiful. Look at how gorgeous that is. I can't even get over how pretty it is. So that is all of the questions. And I wanted to thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below. What do you think? What are your palettes that you would answer in this too? And thank you so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.